Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing this wonderful Friday? So good to see everyone. I see Corbin in the chat. Hi, Corbin. Thank you so much for coming, supporting me. Hello, Ken. So good to see you as well. And thanks for watching the replay, Tim. It is so wonderful to be here with you all on this Friday, and it is beautiful and sunny outside. And we are looking at some definitely warmer temps this weekend, which will be great because we got a lot of snow this week, and I am very much looking forward to that melting and getting some warmth back. But so happy to be here. So happy to share this with you all. So today we are diving into kind of the second part of my awakening journey. And I really wanted to share with y'all my first hypnosis experience. And that was as the client, not as practitioner, though maybe I'll share that as well. Let me know if you guys would be interested in me talking about that experience. But getting into that, talking a little bit about my experiences with dreams and meditations and these altered states of consciousness that we can go to, and some of my experiences that stuck with me in those other places, and then also wanted to get into kind of my experiences beyond the veil and some of my experiences with mediumship and with spirits and with the spirit side. So it's going to be an exciting show. I'm excited to share all of this with you all. And before we get into that, I definitely wanted to make sure to remind everyone that we have my group Past Life Regression workshop that is coming up tomorrow. So this is at 11 a.m. tomorrow, March 8th, Saturday. If you're watching this on replay, you may have missed it, but don't worry. I do have some more that I'm working on for the future. But this is going to be a really cool event, and I'm so excited to guide this group through the past life experience and connecting with their higher self, and really doing that work of releasing and reflection as we move into the astrological new year, as we get into Aries season and a lot of the Aries energy that's coming in from all of the astrology. So if you are interested in this, if you have not gotten your ticket yet, it's not too late. You can find your way over here to my bookings page, and this is linked down in the description box as well if you need it. Otherwise, you can find it on my website too. You'll see my one-on-one bookings, and then down here is the group workshop. If you click in, you'll notice that it pulls up the time. You got to click on this time here to then book your ticket for that event. So make sure you head on over there. And then, of course, if you want more information on my practice, my website is a great place to go. I've got details on all of my different services, as well as some info about me too, if you want to dig into that. So, all right, let's see. First off, wanted to talk about my first hypnosis experience, and I wanted to talk about this. One, because it really fits into my awakening journey and my journey up until this point, my awakening. It was a very transformational moment in my life, and I've since been able to witness this transformation for my clients too. And I think that each of our experiences are obviously different. We're all unique, and what's going to be most appropriate for someone is going to be different for the next. And yet, I think, like sharing client session stories, I wanted to share this because I think that there's value in it, and I hope that also it's interesting to you guys. So, yes, thank you, Corbin, for popping that in the chat. So it's easy access. Got the link there. And so yeah, I feel like this was it was not the experience that I expected it to be. So to give you guys a little context for this, for my first hypnosis session as the client, I had already read quite a bit of Dolores Cannon's work. Dolores Cannon being the founder and pioneer of the quantum healing hypnosis that I use. And I'd read a lot of her books. I'd read a couple other hypnotists' books as well. And so I had a lot of these session stories kind of swirling around in my head. And if you've read Dolores Cannon's work, you'll know that she uncovered a lot of wild stuff in the cosmos, and she went to a lot of different times and a lot of different places with her clients, including off-world, including other dimensions. If you've seen my channel, you've seen that I've also gone to some of these places with my clients. But I certainly went into my first hypnosis experience thinking that it was going to be something specific. I had this expectation in my mind of what I was going to experience, and this was earlier on in my awakening journey, in my journey along this path, and I had definitely this resonance with the idea of starseed, and I thought that I was going to be told like my starseed origins, that I was going to be taken off planet, that I was going to see this wild crazy ET life, and that was not what was most appropriate for me. It turns out that it was a very different experience. And I share this because it was a moment where, even as someone who was at that point starting to practice this technique, I hadn't done a lot of sessions. I wanted to have a session of my own before I started, doing it with other people, facilitating sessions, I should say. And yet I still had this expectation, and it's something that it was a great experience for me because it really helped me to understand the importance of helping my clients to, as best as possible, let go of those expectations, and really be open to the experience, open to whatever comes up. Because, as I say often, working with your higher self is just the best way to get the most appropriate lifetime, the most appropriate experience that's going to help you in the widest amount of ways. And so, all in all, it was a good experience from that standpoint to help me as a practitioner to then have, you know, uh, this firsthand knowledge of how your expectations can, um, lead to different experiences during the session itself. But all in all, it was a fascinating lifetime nonetheless. Ah, hello, Emma. So good to see you. Thanks for catching the replay. Right, Corbin. Star seeds. But uh, without rambling anymore, I think sharing kind of what went down in this session. I had taken some time to research the practitioner that I wanted to go with. There was a few in the area that I had looked at, and I had seen their websites, and I kind of felt into their energy. And this practitioner really stood out to me, and I really vibed with. And I think that that's the biggest thing when you're picking a guide for this type of work, when you're picking a hypnotist, is, do you vibe with that person? How do you feel, checking out their website, reading about them, looking at their photo? These are ways that you can tune in and see if it's going to be the right fit. And your higher self, helps guide you with that as well. But when I went to have my session with her, it was, first of all, not what I expected from, um, even from what I know about the techniques and knowing hypnosis. I had still this expectation of how it was going to be presented to me, and I thought it was going to be this very like visual movie, this interactive movie that I was going to be experiencing. And there are certainly folks out there who experience it more in that way, in that very movie type setting. But for me, it was much more of a kind of snapshot view, a flash photo of what I was seeing. I would get like a detail, I would get a picture of the scene, and then as I focused in on those details, then I was able to get a little bit more visual, or I would get like that download, that sense of knowing, where the information just kind of dropped in, and I just knew the answer to the question. So the first scene that we dropped into was, it was nighttime, and I was outside. I was barefoot walking in what seemed to be this like abandoned mine. And it turns out that there was black obsidian there that they had been mining beforehand, and that I was also there to collect some of the scraps that were left. And I very much got the sense that I was a shaman type or maybe a medicine man of some type. And what really stood out to me about this scene was the moon. And I remember looking up at the moon and I was just moved to tears in the session. I mean, I was crying because just that connection that I felt to the moon in that lifetime. Not to mention just the visual spectacular, experience of seeing the moon like that. It's not often. I currently live in the city, and so it's not often that I get to see the moon just so huge and bright in the sky. And that was one visual that was very vivid, was the moon, and seeing that in the sky and then just getting those emotions welling up. And oh, hello, Lisa. So good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. And so that emotional experience was really what stood out to me. And as we were settling into this lifetime, there wasn't a whole lot going on in the scene. I was alone for most of it, and then I found my way to a companion. But it was really about that emotional connection, as well as being barefoot was something that really stood out to me too, and the connection to the earth. And later on, when we were asking my higher self about why this lifetime was shown to me, it was in part because of that connection to the earth and that connection that I had. And I'm not sure if I was Native American or not. I got the sense that it was possibly like more in the southwest of the United States, but I wasn't exactly sure, especially because some of the details later on ended up being um, just not really fitting with that time period that I felt I was in. But we'll get more into that. Uh, After that scene, though, we moved on to another important scene in my lifetime, and I was shown. Oh, hey, Phil. Thanks so much for stopping in. Good to see you. And so that next scene that we were in, I was older and I was in much dressier clothes. I saw myself with a bolo tie and like a button down shirt, and I remember just feeling very stuffy, like I was, um, not wearing the clothes that I wanted to, not in the outfit that I felt most comfortable in. Just felt like I was, felt stuffy. And in that scene and the following scenes, it was a lot about my family and the connections that I had. It was a lot about the town and the community that I was in. One of the kind of weirder moments in the session was I was at a community wedding, and I was just sitting watching the festivities when I saw this band of robbers, I guess, or vagabond, I think was the word that I used in the session. But they were running around in the crowd, like pickpocketing people, like robbing people, and it was really loud and chaotic. And I, even though I tried to shout and like make known what was happening, couldn't get the people's attention, and these guys ended up getting running away. But what was weird about this scene was that they looked like pirates. They had like these curved swords, and it wasn't like a cartoonish pirate. It was like a um, just like a rough and tumble, raggedy clothes, just very that like roguish look to them. Again, I used the word vagabond, and it was strange to see those outfits and that like type of weapon in this scene that I felt was in like the American Southwest. And these were some moments where my conscious mind, my logical mind, was trying to rationalize what I was seeing and really kind of like pick it apart and be really critical with it. And luckily the practitioner, was very encouraging, and I knew enough about the process to know that I needed to just keep going. I needed to just let that information flow and keep on with the story. But there were still those moments where my conscious mind kind of popped up and said, this doesn't make sense. What weapons are those? What outfits are those people wearing? What? when we finished the session and I was talking through it with this practitioner, one of the points that she made was, well, who knows if it was even, our Earth or like our past timeline as we understand it. And I thought that was a valid point because especially now with my further understanding of the quantum and really understanding a lot more about timelines, I still feel like I've barely scratched the surface. um, but it's of such a broad topic, right? But this timeline idea was very much a new thing for me. But the practitioner reminded me that it could have been an alternate timeline or an alternate past where things were different, and yet there was importance in that story, in that lifetime, in that experience that I was shown. Oh, that is such a good idea. I love that, Corbin. I actually have a crystal bolo tie. It has like a round tiger's eye, and it's really really pretty. I've worn it a couple times, but I don't have a whole lot of places that I would wear a bolo tie to. Not necessarily like a everyday everyday wear type of thing, but mm, oh, Lisa, that's a good point. I wonder, and that's the thing about this work is sometimes those sorts of details aren't really important to what your higher self wants you to understand, and so it's not always highlighted where exactly you are, and depending on your practitioner, depending on who's guiding you through that experience, they might not ask that outright question of, well, where are you, or where do you feel like you are? And sometimes too with those sorts of questions, that's when the conscious mind tries to look at the modern map of the world as we understand it, and try to like make sense of it. But it's interesting nonetheless. All in all, though, like I was saying, there was purpose in what my higher self showed me, and there was a reason that they showed me these lifetimes, and that was really the emphasis on family. And they were really reminding me, when we were speaking with them, that this connection to family, this importance of family, was something that, yes, was in that past life, but this was reflected in my current life, and it was something that I was being reminded of because they really didn't want me to like turn away from my family, or not value that connection, that was important in this lifetime. And it's something that is not currently an issue for me, but at that time when I had that session, it was something where I was really trying to understand my place within my family, and understand um, how I could how I could share hypnosis and the world that I was, tiptoeing into, the world that I was um, opening myself up to with my family, who didn't necessarily have the same beliefs or the same understandings of the cosmos as I did. And so it was a really impactful session from from the past life experience and what I was shown. But even beyond that, the higher self experience is just it's something that's hard to describe. It's something that is challenging to put into words, and really make it feel appropriate, uh appropriately, like, important enough. I mean, it's such a profound experience, and for me, I didn't really know what to expect because I had read a lot about this, but I really didn't know how it was gonna show up for me and how I was gonna feel. And I think one of the key things was the energy that I felt, and that manifested both as heat because, when my higher self came through and we were talking with them, I was just, like, sweating, and I remember, being very, very cold in the past life experience. There was, especially in that first scene, when it was nighttime, I was really cold, and I was like shivering. And later on, even though I was hot, I was still shaking. And it was more that the energies of my higher self were just much stronger. And it manifested in that way. And I've since had similar experiences with heat and that sort of body sensation when I connect with my higher self, or when I connect with clients' higher selves through the sessions. And uh, that's just how it manifests for me. Different clients have different experiences. I have had clients who have had similar, I guess, like energy shakes. I had one client who her teeth were literally like chattering because she was shaking so hard. I'm like, you good? you know, giving her suggestions and reminders that she can just observe. She doesn't need to feel any of these this strong energy, but. Uh, for her, she was like, "Oh, I feel fine. It's just a lot. It's just a lot of energy." And so, for different people, that experience of connecting with your higher self shows up differently. So I wanted to share this experience for those couple different reasons of how it really shaped my journey. And I'm not sharing all of what my higher self shared with me that day. Um, because it was pretty personal stuff. And that's where, when I'm sharing client session experiences, one, I get their permission beforehand, and then two, very much avoiding sharing the information that's deeply personal, because there is a lot that we can ask our higher selves that's very much ours and not a collective thing. And so I definitely got so many different answers to my questions, and really got such a deep understanding of what I was doing, why I was here. It was during this session that my higher self clarified for me that this hypnosis was a part of my purpose and my path in this lifetime. And it was a really, really powerful experience of feeling that connection, and being able to connect in that way to that part of me. One other thing that I didn't mention with my higher self was that it was it didn't feel as alien as I thought it was going to, and this was another great experience that I've been able to share with my clients too, in that your higher self, it's a part of you. Your higher self is not some other being elsewhere. This is a part of you. And uh I've said this before in videos with clients, when we talk to their higher selves, so often they say, "We're right here. We're just waiting to talk with you. We're waiting to support you. We're waiting to help you." And it's definitely something um, that I was expecting a more separate entity to come through, and yet it felt so natural. Like um, it felt so comfortable and familiar to me because it is me. And so that's where I think sometimes people can trip themselves up, or have difficulty accepting what comes through in a session, because the experiences and the feelings of it are oftentimes different than the expectations that we have. And I hope that, sharing my experience today helps you to get another little glimpse into what this can look like, another way this can show up, um, and and really also show you kind of where I've come from. And this experience was my first, and it was not my last. And I definitely found, as I did more sessions, that things did flow even easier. And it's like meditating. It's like you know doing these things that are new and fresh, and not what we're used to. The more that you practice, the more that you experience that state, the more comfortable you are in it. And so I definitely found that my other sessions, things flowed even easier. We were able to get even more information. And so it's definitely something that I think practice does help. And not that you need to have had a session to have a successful session, because if you're working with a good practitioner, they can help guide you and help give you that preparation, right? But definitely something that the more experience you have in those altered states, in trance state, it just helps you to be a little bit more familiar. That's all. All right. Carol, so good to see you popping in. And yes, right, right, Corbin, natural. Exactly. I think that that's really how it felt. So my first hypnosis experience was fascinating, but it was certainly not my only experience in an altered state of consciousness as I went along my journey. And not that I didn't have transformative moments within my waking hours, or within the more standard brainwave functions, but definitely in these altered states, in these states of trance, there is there's access to realms beyond, and our conscious brain in these states is much more relaxed and much less like hyper control of what you're experiencing. And so that's where oftentimes you can have more profound spiritual experiences, whether that be in hypnosis trance or in just a dream or in meditation. Because in dreams, you're in that theta state, or in that delta state. You're in those deep, deep states of trance where you're fully asleep. And in meditation, you're often dipping down into those deeper states as well. So all in all, I don't have a lot of specific dream experiences to share. It's more of some themes that I've seen, and the ways that dreams have, I guess, opened me up to understanding the multiverse in a different way, in a new way. Because for most of my life, I spent thinking that dreams were this random, like, mishmash of memories and people and things and experiences that then your subconscious mind, in like the psychological standpoint of subconscious, that part of your brain just kind of makes this made up imaginary world, and that's all there is to it, nothing else. And while I certainly think that there is some of that more symbolic dreams that you can have, more of those, you know, creative, I guess, dream experiences that are maybe not quite as literal. It's definitely something that I'm still learning, and I don't claim to have all the answers on dreams, but I've certainly had some dreams where I very much felt upon awakening that that was an alternate universe. That was a parallel life, a parallel lifetime that I was connecting in with, because it just feels different. And some of those experiences were dreams in places or with people that were familiar and yet different. So, for one example, I have had many, many dreams that take place in my high school. And my high school was not your average high school building. It's on like the historic building registry, because it was built by the mines back in 1920 something, and they spent a lot of money. It has like a full stage that's modeled after the Globe Theater in New York. It's a very fancy, beautiful high school for sure. And in my dreams, it has a lot of those similar feels. So uh, I'm explaining this because it kind of gives context to the experience. Because the high school was big. It was three stories, and it was shaped like an E. So you had like these long kind of hallways that were connected. It was kind of a strange shaped building, but in my dreams, this place morphed, and there was stairways where they weren't supposed to. I remember one dream where I like went down this winding staircase, and it then led to some weird, strange, like underground, uh, like bunker type dormitory. Very strange places. I remember going down into like the basement of the school and finding like a whole another like world down there. So oftentimes those places were just different. They were familiar and yet different. And it was the same with people, where I would recognize the person as, someone in my life, but then in this dream they're playing a very different role, or their personality is very different, or even sometimes their physical appearance would be different. And it was especially those dreams where the people and the places were just slightly off, where I really felt like this is something parallel. This is a lifetime where this is a dream that's accessing a lifetime elsewhere. And I've had a couple clients come with similar experiences in their dreams, and uh, it's always fascinating to then be able to ask their higher selves, like, what was that dream about, or why that reoccurring dream. In fact, a lot of clients ask about their reoccurring dreams because these are things that stick with us, right? And I've had a couple of those as well, but most of those I would say I had when I was younger. Like when I was a kid, I had a reoccurring dream that was really fascinating. But yes, dream journaling, right? It's something that I have been trying to get better at because I know that dream journaling can help you in your recall, right? For me, I've started to voice memo my dreams. So I'll just pull my phone up and hit the voice memo, and then I'll just talk at my phone for a few minutes, explaining the dream and what I saw. And that really helps me because when I was writing, I would like try to write with my eyes like still partially closed so I didn't lose the dream and with the lights out. And so then my writing ended up just like slanting up the page, being pretty much illegible. And so the voice memos really help in my recall and my memories. But I also don't really remember a lot of my dreams. In all honesty. But yeah, those were some of the fascinating moments, and especially as I started to understand the multiverse in more of a theoretical sense, I started to recognize these dreams and that feeling of being in some places just slightly off. And I think that it's true with the multiverse theory that you're only able to access lifetimes that are somewhat close to you. There's like a limit to how far you can reach out or how far you can get. And I think that that's to do with frequency. That's to do with resonance, um, and I think that there's just you know and that's for a purpose. That's the further you reach, the further the more different those lifetimes can be. And so I think that there's purpose in kind of that resonance, that match, because the lifetimes that you're going to access, then the lifetimes that you might notice in your dreams or get downloads about, uh, are going to have a resonance with your current lifetime. So all in all, fascinating stuff, I think. And I would love to. I love talking about dreams, but again, my own experiences have been somewhat limited with my recall. And I know some people, Corbin, for instance, dream journals so much. And I really admire him for that. But yeah, just not something that I've quite gotten the hang of. I love that, Carol. I started a dream journal, remember about four of them from 2024, 2025. Yep, yep. I think that there is something to be said about our dream lives and our astral travels at night. And I don't think that we're meant to remember all of it. I think that there's a lot that goes on that's just beyond what we need to have conscious memory of. I've definitely heard stories from clients of going and like visiting other spirits or other souls on the other side at nighttime, or meeting up with their spirit guides or with other soul partners as well. And so I think that there's some of that takes place when our physical bodies are asleep, that it's just not always necessary for us to have conscious memory of. It's more so for that soul perspective. And the there's so much memories out there from all of our lives, that if we had access to all of that at once, it would just be overwhelming, and we would not be able to function in our human lifetimes here. So yes, Lisa, get that journal going. I I really love the voice memos, so I will keep talking about that. But anyway, um, so that's dreams and meditations. So meditations, I think, have been uh, meditation has been something that I have struggled with a little bit over the years. As a very cerebral person, as a very my mind is often racing and lots of thoughts going on, and um, I have definitely found it challenging to quiet my mind and let those thoughts go. Uh, and yet there's so much value in meditation for sure, and certainly over the years I've learned better to deal with that in different ways and techniques that help me personally to kind of quiet the mind and settle into the moment. Um, but some of my most profound awakening experiences definitely happened within meditation as well. So one of uh one of the really cool experiences that I've had, and I've had this a few times in meditation, is accessing my own past life memories through that putting myself in a trance state. And uh, I talked with Lisa last week. Hi, Lisa DiMartino in the chat. Lisa was on my channel last week, and we talked about a lot of her experience and with not only meditation but also dreams too. But I definitely love the ways that meditation can help you to access a lot of this information that that is so helpful and so profound for you. So I know Lisa's accessed some of her past life experiences through meditation, and I had a few of those experiences as well. Oh yeah, Phil did have Phil had a great trip about journaling before meditating to clear the mind. Oh, a great trick. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw that on his Substack. I don't know if if you're still here, Phil, but that was a great tip. For those who didn't see Phil's Substack, he was talking about journaling and essentially kind of using that to empty your mind before getting into meditation, and just kind of like letting all of the thoughts and the words and trying to get that out on the page before then quieting your mind. So great point. Thanks for bringing that up, Corbin. And we appreciate you, Phil, and all your wisdom for sure. But the moments that I had these was one, I had this recall of a past life where I was what appeared to be like either an Eskimo or an Inuit woman. I was some type of medicine woman or shaman, which that's two lives now that I've been some shaman type, and I've had other experiences too where I've seen these similar lifetimes, um, and yet in this lifetime, in this scene that I saw, and it was more vivid than just um, like a passing thought. I mean, it was very visceral, and I remember what I saw was um, I saw me in from above, and I saw my body like in the ocean, like trying to swim, but I was like sinking under, and I'd gotten like a leak in my boat, and some of this information I got like downloaded, but a lot of it was that visual, and like I could see the water line. I could see the water line go up above my eyes, and then that's when my perspective switched to being like above my body, which I've seen this in sessions with folks as we go through the death experience in a life. Is your spirit leaves the body, and it leaves. And oftentimes, clients relay seeing the scene of their death from above. They're looking down on it. And so I had this experience in a meditation, and I realized that I had left my village to go and try to I had to get some medicine or some plants or something like that from somewhere else, from an island or from somewhere pretty far away by boat. And I remember just the sense of disappointment and sadness that I felt as I was sinking down below the water, because like my people really needed that medicine, and I it was sinking into the water with me. And I remember feeling those emotions just washing over me. And again, it's it's hard to explain sometimes the way those emotions can hit you uh, in these types of experiences, whether that be a session or a meditation. But I'm sure a lot of you in who are watching this have had similar experiences. Um, but really a fascinating to tap into that past life and to know that it was me, but see the physical difference. And I did have one other experience as well with past lives where I saw myself at the end of Atlantis. It was when the floods hit and the land was destroyed, and I was just a child at that point. I remember seeing myself. I was like a very young girl, and not really knowing what was going on, but then like seeing the panic around me and then seeing the water, and it was pretty fast that the death happened. But I also remember feeling like surprised and like shocked, like what just happened. And when that memory came up, when that past life memory came up for me, I realized that I was really being called to release that lifetime, to help that fractal of my soul to remember and be able to escape that loop. And so oftentimes, right, when whether it be in a session a past life comes up or in meditation like this, there's a reason that that's coming up for you, and that memory is showing itself to you. And it's definitely a moment where you want to take a look at your life, at what's going on. Is it a message for you? What is it reminding you of? What is it bringing up for you to acknowledge? And so yeah, really some fascinating experiences. I i'm sure that a lot of you have had resonant experiences or similar experiences. So definitely let me know in the comments, or in the chat, if you have had experiences, tapping into your past lives through meditation, because it's a cool way of opening your mind and of practicing letting yourself enter that state, letting yourself tap into that information beyond. And again, just like with regression, like the more that you practice the meditation, I've definitely found that it's easier for me to tap into that. It's easier for me to get quiet. So yeah, super fascinating stuff. And all of these pieces, again, fit together to build me into the person that I am now. And I'm sure that as you all reflect on your own journeys and your own awakenings, I have no doubts that you have had similar experiences too. And I think that what I've really enjoyed about sharing this story with y'all is reflecting on these moments and really looking at the overarching journey and the overarching context for where I am at now, and having that appreciation for what my soul planned for me, what my higher self guided me towards. So yeah, and thank you, Corbin, for the reminder. Yes, make sure you grab your tickets for my group Past Life Regression workshop tomorrow. I will show you guys that one more time. March 8th, 11 a.m. tomorrow. That's Central Time. Remember that you can find those tickets on my booking page. If you go down to the group Past Life Regression workshop here, you can get your tickets that way. And I definitely hope to see y'all there, because it's going to be a really fun event. And I'm so excited to be doing this at this time, because I think that it is a really appropriate time for this release, for this type of work. And I'm really excited to bring it to y'all. So all right. Beyond that, we are getting close to the hour here. So I think that I am going to save my mediumship experiences to share in a mediumship show, because I don't want to rush through them, because I had quite a bit that I wanted to talk about with those experiences. And I hate cramming. I hate like rushing through things. So if you're all right with that, we're going to talk about that next time. But all in all, I think that there is just such power in reflecting on your journey, in reflecting on those experiences that help shape you. And we oftentimes are so future focused, and I say that as someone who is very future focused. I am oftentimes thinking about what's next, what am I working on, what do I need to do to get to that next level, that next step. And oftentimes when we're reflecting on the past, we're reflecting on the negative things and those moments that we had, trauma, or we had hurt, or that relationship that didn't work out, or whatever it might be. And I certainly know that for myself, I don't take enough time to look back on those positive moments and the positive growth that takes place, and really appreciating again that soul plan that I made for myself. We come into these incarnations and we forget, because that's important, that's helpful for being a human incarnate. But at the same time, then there's that value, and there's that beauty and that power in remembering. And we are all here to help each other remember, and help each other to find our way back to source, if you will. And I really hope that something in my story, something in these experiences that I've shared with y'all, um, helps to and resonates with you, and helps you to think about your own journey too, because I think that it is valuable work. And also, I had fun sharing these stories with you, so I hope you enjoyed as well. Last reminder: make sure you check out my group Past Life Regression Workshop tomorrow. I really do hope to see everyone there. I know a few of you have gotten your tickets already, so thank you. If you haven't, there is still time. And if for some reason you aren't able to make it live, there is the option to receive that recording afterwards too. Um, if you'd prefer to be live, well, then I'll see you on the next one, because this is certainly something that I think is very valuable, and I want to keep bringing these group activities together, keep bringing the community together, because I think that's really important as well. So, all in all, thank you so much for watching, guys, and for supporting me. I really do appreciate. Oh, thanks, Carol. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Lisa, and thank you, Corbin, as well for moderating the chat, and for supporting me in this too. All right, all of the love to you. Hope to see you tomorrow. And if you're not coming tomorrow, make sure you come and check out my show next week. I'm going to do a Pisces special, because it is my birthday on Sunday, and I'm doing vacation week next week. So I wanted to do a little bit of a casual stream, mostly talking about uh, being a Pisces, because I am, but also bringing in some of the astrology and how that can inform your soul plan, and what I've learned about that, and also talking a little bit about past life regression and the Pisces tie. And I think that astrology is such a fascinating tool for understanding what's going on in your life. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about those different pieces, and thought it would be a fun show. So, all right, all the love to you, and bye for now.